No, there isn't any extra money that we get from this.
Hello everyone, Noi here from NEA and welcome to an episode of Ask Me Anything, where I literally ask our NEA officers anything. So with us today, we have two very experienced NEA operations or ops officers. We have Wyatt here and also Kwang Hong. Okay, so from doing inspections and also being physically pushed, we can actually say that both Wyatt and Kwang Hong have the full NEA experience. So before we do a deep dive, maybe we can have a short introduction and how long you guys have been with NEA.
Okay, hi everyone. My name is Wyatt. I've been in NEA for 8 years.
Yeah. Hi, my name is Kwang Hong. I've been in NEA for about 11 years.
Thanks for that. So let's start off with something that's quite a common question. How do these offenders or these individuals actually react when you approach them out in public?
So usually when we do enforcement, we do not wear our NEA polo tee, so it's in plain clothes. When we approach them and stop them from leaving, right, they are usually quite surprised. Who is this stranger coming to stop me? And we have to identify ourselves as NEA officer. Then we will explain to them the offense that they have committed. Yeah.
In this approach, right, especially when you share the offense that they have committed, how about when they actually ask for chance? Like, you will give chance or anything?
Unfortunately, we still have to enforce.
Okay, so I mean the act itself has already been done, right? Okay, so with these years that you've done this sort of enforcement, what are different types of offenders?
Yeah, so actually majority of the people that were approached after we explain to them the offense they committed usually are quite cooperative because they themselves know that they have committed the offense. Then we also have some of them turn a bit more aggressive by verbally abuse us and start scolding us, and very rare occasions they turn violent and be physical. And actually both me and Kwang Hong, we have that one experience.
Okay, so maybe can you guys share a bit on that one experience where the individual in question actually turned abusive physically?
Okay, so back then, both of us were carrying out enforcement bliss at an area in the central part of Singapore. So both of us, we spotted a man smoking, who then threw the cigarette butt onto the ground. The man entered the restaurant before we could engage him. So both of us went in to the restaurant to approach him.
Yeah, then because he explains to us that he's actually with his business partner, so we actually invited him out of the restaurant to reduce the commotion. Yeah, then when we explained to him about the offense that he have committed, he said that he don't have his ID with him, so we decided to escort him to get the ID. In so doing, this person actually decided to try to evade from us, and he actually pushed me down onto the ground.
I don't think that's a nice experience to have, especially when you're just doing your job, right? But I also understand that actually the individual in this case has actually been sent for 4 weeks imprisonment, and it was also reported. So I think the fact of the matter is we should all just be cooperative with the public officers, not just NEA officers. We are just doing our jobs, right? We should also just be nicer to one another. I mean, if you are approached by someone, you don't have to immediately be defensive. And I think for all of us here in Singapore, we should also realize and also understand that any abuse of public officers is actually a criminal offense. Okay, so let's move away from this. Another question that I have actually heard of quite often as enforcement ops officers, do you guys have a quota to meet?
No, there's no quota.
No quota, okay. Other than this quota, there's also another question. When you guys are out for this enforcement, right, is there any bonus or incentive for the number of summons issued?
No, there isn't any extra money that we get from this.
Okay, so you guys heard it here, probably not the first time, but for the countless times, our officers, especially public officers, do not have any KPI or quota in terms of summons or enforcement notices issued. So what do you guys do now in NEA?
Okay, so for myself, I'm actually doing dengue prevention in a specific area. So for that, our officers are doing a slight variation of enforcement. Yeah, so when they do house-to-house inspection, if they actually detected mosquito breeding, they have to collect the sample and request particulars from the residents. So we have to assure them that the reason why we are actually doing this house-to-house inspection is to try to uncover the mosquito breeding habitats and to prevent dengue outbreak in the area. Yeah.
What about you, Kwang Hong?
Yeah, so for me, I manage the rat control section in NEA. This is a specialist section aimed at building knowledge and retaining capabilities in rat control and surveillance. Yeah.
So during these inspections that you've done, is there anything that's like out of the ordinary or interesting that you actually found before?
Yeah. Okay. So there was during the COVID period where everyone is restricted, we still have to do our inspections. So one of the building at their cooking area, we open up this grease trap chamber. The moment we actually open up the grease trap chamber, right, a lot of mosquitoes actually flew out lah. Yeah. So both the premise owner and ourselves were quite shocked.
Okay, so I guess from previously you were dealing with not so happy people who you have to approach because they committed an offense. Now you're going to another group of the Singapore society where it's the mosquitoes and also the rodents lah. So here in NEA we call this the vectors because vectors are actually pests which can transmit and spread diseases which is not good for the public health. Can I also check right now in this current job scope that you have, are there any challenges that you face?
So other than what was mentioned, right? So one of the challenges is to bring the multiple stakeholders together to align at the same goal. Yeah.
Then also our work never have a deadline. It is continuous because the pests also won't just take a break or vacation.
True, we can go on school holiday but the mosquitoes will always be around.
Yeah.
The mosquitoes have been around since dinosaur age but until now they're still here. We probably cannot eradicate them. Last but not least, anything to share with the listeners back home?
I think we can all do our part in keeping Singapore clean by not littering, keeping the area clean and hygienic by bagging your rubbish and food waste and disposing them in covered bins. This is to prevent rats, vectors or pests from moving in.
So I would like to appeal for the residents to practice the block steps. If the area that you stay in still have mosquito bite, you can always call NEA. Then we'll send our officers down to check the vicinity for you as well to make sure that there's no mosquito breeding habitats.
Okay, so that's all the time we have for this episode of Ask Me Anything. Thank you Wyatt, thank you Kwang Hong for sharing your experiences and also for keeping Singapore safe and clean for everyone. Till next time, do join us again for the next episode of Ask Me Anything from NEA. Bye!